record. All right, so let's go on. Number 6. List all the angles that has a measure greater than angle 1. All right, so here is angle 1. All right, so which one is greater than angle 1? Tell me.
Angle 5.
I definitely agree, angle 5. Anybody else? And go ahead. I don't care.
Angle 7.
Yeah, angle 7 also, right? Because again, that's the exterior also. And you can also say that those are vertical. Yes, sir. Yeah, because remember, this is an exterior angle, right? And a lot of times what I try to show kids is if you would just cover this piece up, you can see it better. Right? Makes sense, right? All right. So let's get back now. All right, here we go. Number 7. An advertising company is designing a corporate flag in the shape of an isosceles triangle. So if it's isosceles, this is here. The right-hand edge of the company logo will be placed at the centroid. All right. The length of the altitude is 24. Right, so if it's placed at the centroid, then how far is the right-hand edge of the logo from vertex C? What is that, guys?
16.
Right, because what do? We divide by 3. The centroid, remember, the centroid cuts the median into x and 2x. All right, so essentially you're just saying 3x equals 24. So x equals 8, but we're interested in from L to C. So that's how we got 16. Everybody okay with that? All right, again, this is the centroid. So the centroid are the medians, correct? Right, and the medians then, just as a review, that's what we're looking at. All right. So if YC is 15, then YZ is what?
30.
Yeah, that's easy. All right, 30. All right, what is a point called where the perpendicular bisectors circumcenter? All right, again, the centroid, XM is 8. If XM is 8, then MA is what? 4. What is the name of the point that is 2/3 the way from the vertex? Yeah, centroid. All right, quadrilateral ABCD, given that CD is the perpendicular bisector of AB. So again, that means that's a 90-degree angle. That's equal. And AB is the perpendicular bisector. So again, so what do we know about the value of Y? Well, how do we get that, guys? Give me the equations. Tell me, Morty. Yes. Y plus 1 is equal to definitely 2x plus 7. Somebody else. What?
I did y plus 1 is equal to 2y minus 3.
Yeah, but why can we say that though?
Because they're parallel to each other.
Well, what's true about, I mean, to me, I think that's a good way of looking at it, but this right here, that triangle is definitely congruent to what? This triangle down, to this triangle down here, right? That's what we're looking at. Does everybody agree with that? Because we can just say that's side angle side, right? Right, I agree with you, whoever said Y plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 7. Do you agree with that? But it would just be easier if we just said Y plus 1 is equal to 2y minus 3, agreed? Because what's true about all 4 of those triangles? Yeah, they're congruent. So what do we get? Y is equal to what? 4. And if we know Y is equal to 4,
You gotta plug it into one of them.
right, So if y is equal to 4, then AC is what? So 5 is equal to 2x plus 7. Is that, everybody agree with that? And so x is equal to what? X equal to -1. All right, find the shortest segment in triangle PQS. This was kind of easy. What is it? PQ? Everybody good? The longest in QRS. QRS. Yeah, sorry, QR. All right. Find the angle with the smallest measure in, say it again, W, or angle what?
W for angle W.
Yeah. Wait. Well, because we're looking at just VUW, right? We could just say angle U, but I can understand if you want to say VUW also. The greatest angle in UWX. Yeah, definitely angle X. All right, here we go. Write an inequality to describe the possible values of X. So X could be, yes, less than 16 and greater than 2. Any issues? Yeah.
So on that one,
Hold on a second. Go ahead, Harris. Tell me.
so on that one, you just add the sides.
Right.
And
The
that's
third
it.
side is always less than the sum and greater than the difference. Less than the sum and greater than the difference.
All right.
All right. So which leads us into 19. Which of the following sets of numbers can be the lengths of the sides of a triangle? Can A?
No.
No. Can B?
Yes.
Can C?
No.
D?
No.
Now, tell me about D, because we haven't worked on that in a while. How do I do D?
And multiply 5 times 8 for the square root.
So no, let's double check this, guys, because that's kind of close. What's the square root of 5 plus the square root of 8?
Square root of 13.
No, it is not. You can't add those together, guys. Come on, I'm glad we checked this. Use your calculator real quick. Someone tell me what the square root of 5 plus the square root of 13 or plus the square root of 8 is. Wow, you guys messed that one up. I almost believed you. What's the square root of 5 plus the square root of 8?
It's like 2. I got 2 point something.
5 point what?
5.0644.
Okay, what's the square root of 13?
3.6.
So is that are those the sides of a triangle? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. D is correct. Right? Because again, remember, square root of 5 plus the square root of 8 is not the square root of 13. All right, double check that now. Make sure you're okay with that, because you guys almost convinced me that you were right without checking your work. What about the square root of 2, the square root of 3, and the square root of 11? Right?
It looks like a theorem.
So the square root of 2, the square root of 3, and the square root of 11. That's kind of close, actually. Square root of 2 is like 1.414. Square root of 3 is like 1.71. That's like 3.2. Square root of 11, that's close, guys. Can't just look at it.
11.
What is the square root of 11?
3.31.
Yeah, 3.31. And what's the square root of 2 plus square root of 3?
3.15.
Yeah, that's, see how close that is? Right, so is that yes or no, guys? That's really close. Really, really close. What about F? Definitely. X plus 2x would be what? So that's a no, right? And what about x 1.8x? Yeah, I'm happy. What?
What if X was a decimal?
Well, remember, whenever you're adding x plus 2x, you get 3x regardless of the decimal. True?
Talking about G.
Are you talking about G?
Yeah.
So
What if X was like 0.5?
that's why this was important, that x had to be greater than 0. So 2x and 1.8x.
Well, 0.5 is greater than 0.
Okay, so half of 2 would be 1, half of 0.8 would be 0.9. True?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, right? The negatives flip it the other way, believe it or not. But 2x, when x is greater than 0, is always, right? That's why I told you x had to be greater than 0, because if x was negative, then 2x would be less than 1.8x, right?
Yeah.
That's important. All right, that's important. Hopefully you were listening on that. All right. So that's definitely true. Okay, so here we go. Measure of angle 1 is what? That's the Hinge theorem, correct? All right, is everybody okay with that?
Oh, is that only?
Yes, that's all it is. Well, because this side is greater than this side, this angle has to be greater than this angle. You with me on that? It's like I said, opening the door. The wider you open it, the bigger the angle that's created. All right. So now we're talking about AB is what? Less than DE, right? GH.
Greater than.
Wait a minute. Write an inequality about the length of GH.
Is greater than FG.
Okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated, so try to listen to me on this one now. Right, so do we agree that GH has to be greater than what? But what's FG, guys? Is it greater than 7?
Yes.
All right, so GH has to be greater than 7, right? So could it be 1,000?
Yeah.
Could GH be 1,000? What?
GH is greater than FG because GH has a 60 degree angle pointing at it, and FG just has a 50 degree.
Right, so I'm saying, okay, so this Hinge theorem, this, so this angle is greater than 50, so GH has to be greater than 7. Am I right? Is that what you're telling me? What?
FG is 7. Yeah. That's what's greater than 7.
So that's why it has to be greater than 7. Am I? Tell me if I'm not clear though. That makes sense? Are you sure, guys? Right, so I just asked, could that be 1,000? And the answer is definitely what? No.
No.
The third side has to be less than the sum.
Oh, so it's less than 15.
It has to be less than 15, right? Has to be less than 15.
How'd you get 15?
9 plus 6. Is everybody with me? The third side has to be less than the sum. It has to be less than the sum and greater than the difference. But we already know it's greater than what? So greater than 7 is already greater than what? Greater than 3. Thank you. So I know that GH, remember now, we're reading from left to right, small to large. We said it has to, it has to be less than 15, right? So I'm putting 7 here, 15 over here, GH in the middle. This is what I want. All right, that was a good one, guys. I like that one. All right, that was hard. So I'm asking you, anybody have any issues with that now? Go.
If we put a 3 instead of a 7 there, would that be counted incorrect?
Yes. Because why? Because 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work. But again, I'm trying to make sure that you understand why, right?
Where do you mean 3?
9 minus 6.
9 minus 6. Remember, the third side of a triangle has to be less than the sum and greater than the difference. Right? Right? Olivia, you good with that?
Yeah.
So just based off of, if I were to just draw this triangle and say this is 6 and this is 9, this has to be less than 15 and greater than 3. Right? But according to this triangle over here and the Hinge theorem, we already know that it has to be greater than 7 because this is 7. So now I'm wiping out this and putting a 7 there. All right, here we go. Name the perpendicular bisector. What's the ones? Which one of those is the perpendicular bisector? LM. Right? Now this one over here kind of threw me off, guys, so I'm going to highlight this. This right there is the what? That's the altitude. All right. GK is the what? Median. HJ is the, thank you, very good, angle bisector. Everybody should be able to look at that. If you don't see that, just raise your hand real quick and let me explain it. What, Morty? The median is the segment from the vertex to the midpoint. So from here, uh-oh, that's a little too big. From here, come on now, please look. From here to here, K is the midpoint, right?
Yeah.
So that's the median. Come on, guys, I think that's easy if you see it now. I don't want you to miss easy ones tomorrow now. That's easy. The one that cuts the angle in half. This one is the angle bisector. How do I know that? Because that angle down here is equal. That's equal to that. So that's the angle bisector. Right? Yes. Because it says they're equal. This tick mark down here, single tick mark. You see it now, right? All right. I wish they would label it differently. That's how I used to do it in my old geometry book. All right. We got to go. Here we go. So the perimeter of PRQS is 34. Find the value of X, then describe the relationship between RS and PQ. Yeah. This one, they should have marked. They should have marked. We're gonna have to throw this one out because they didn't mark the figure right. That's equal. All right. And this is equal, I think is what they should have said. All right, they made a mistake. No, actually, this is the book itself. I got this right out of the book. I didn't make this one up. All right, so I think what they wanted you to understand was that that's a what? Perpendicular bisector, right? But again, unless they tell you PR is equal. Oh, no, I see, my fault. This whole thing is 34. So if the perimeter is 34, come on now, that's my fault. The perimeter is 34, that means all the sides add up to 34, right? So now if we add all the sides, this 10 and this 10 cancel. So 4x plus 2x is what? 6x, and the minus 3, so that's plus 4 equals 34, right? Yes, thank you. X equals 5. That's my fault. They did a good job on that question. So now if X equals 5, when you plug it in, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 5 is 10. So because those are equal, and because those are equal, then it is the what? Perpendicular bisector. Yes, sir.
Where did you get the plus 4?
Through -3 plus 7. And 10 and -10 cancel, right? All right, sorry about that, guys. Again, everybody look at 24. I kind of messed that up, so I want to make sure everybody's clear. Everybody okay with that? The perimeter is 34, so I added all the sides up. And then we found that X was 5. And then I plugged 5 back in, and it tells me that PR is equal to RQ, and SQ is equal to PS. Therefore, they're perpendicular bisectors. Right, is everybody happy with that? All right, here we go. If N is the centroid, all right, again, centroid, medians, think of it that way. IM is 18. All right, let's just review that. If IM is 18, then NM is how much? 6. Ni would be what? 12. Kn is 4. So Nj would be what? 8. HL is 15. So NL would be 5, right? And HN would be what? 10. Any issues with that? Same problem. All right, now here we go. Centroid. All right. Now, again, the centroid is just the what? Average. So you could save yourself some time here. I don't care if you use the formula. All right, so what is the centroid? What is it? 4, 7. Does anybody need me to help you with the centroid? Remember, the centroid is x1 plus x2 plus x3 divided by what? Comma, y1 plus y2 plus y3 divided by 3. Anybody have any issues with that? Okay, so if RU is an altitude, then what does x equal here? 20, right? Now remember, altitude just means it's a right angle, right? That's all the altitude means. So it's just 5x minus 10 equals 90. Agreed? All right, here we go. So a rubber doorstop has a hypotenuse measuring 7z and a height measuring x minus 5. Write an inequality relating x and z. Okay, so here we go. This is a right angle, correct? So this is, oh wait, that can't be right. That's not a right angle. Why do I know that's not a right angle?
30 plus 47.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So this is 30 right here. And then this angle right here is what? 93. All right. So a rubber doorstop and a height measuring x minus 5, write an inequality relating x and z. All right. So what is true about 7z? 7z is definitely greater than what? X minus 5, right? Wow. I know I wrote x there. 7z has to be greater than x minus 5. So we could say that 7z plus 5, or we could say x is less than 7z plus 5. I think that's what they were looking for. But if you wrote it, now why did I write the x first? Because it says x first. But any combination of that, I wouldn't care. Does everybody see that? Anybody have any issues with that? That was kind of tricky, especially because they said hypotenuse. All right. All right, list the angles from small to large. Help me. Angle T, angle, and then angle. All right, I like that. Sides, shortest to longest. FH, HG, FG. That's pretty easy. Okay, now this one was kind of tricky for some kids. I don't know why, but. Okay, so now kind of think through this one now. So if I was looking at the top triangle, which one would be the largest side? All right, so I'm looking at LM is the largest, so I'm gonna highlight that for us. So far, that's the largest. Now, on the bottom triangle, which one is the largest? LN. So for some reason, I don't know why, kids miss this on the test. Which one's the largest? LM has to be the largest. I don't know why you can't see that. LN is the greatest in the bottom triangle, correct? Does everybody see that? Now, why do most people think that's the biggest? Because biggest the largest angle, right? But if you look at the top one, is LM greater than LN? Is LM greater than LN?
Yes.
Yes. Why is that? Because 80 is greater than what? 70. Come on now. Like I said, people missed this last year. I thought it was easy. Does everybody see why LM is greater than LN? What? Okay, so let me do it this way. Sometimes when I get confused, what I do is I put numbers in. All right, so I'm going to put some numbers in. All right, so this, let's say, is 5. This is 7. And then this would be like 10. Do you agree with that? Those are good numbers. Now I'm going to look at the top triangle. 30 degrees, I know, has to be less than 10, right? So I'm just going to make that 8. And LM has to be greater than what? 10. So I'm just going to put 12. Right? Because again, just because the angle is larger doesn't mean the side is larger unless you're looking at a hinge theorem. Does everybody agree with that? All right, hopefully I explained that well. Like I said, a lot of people last year missed that question. All right, 32. The measure of two sides of a triangle, 14 and 29, then the range of the other one would have to be less than what? 43, but greater than 15. All right, BD is the median of triangle ABE. So I'm going to highlight ABE. If that's the median, if AD is 8, then DE is what? 8, right? 8. That's just understanding the terms. YW bisects. So what's true about those two sides? They're equal. So X equals what? X equals 35. Everybody okay with that? All right, sorry, my battery's about to die. Yes, what? I'm listening. How is what? Because it's a median, right? Do you agree with me? It's a median, right? All right. So now, that was good, right? Whoever asked me that, hopefully. All right, let's go to 35. Write an inequality relating angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1 is what? Less than 2, right? Everybody okay with that? Is this centroid again? So that was easy one, right? So that's just what? 4, 3. Everybody okay with that? Just a formula. I don't care if you use it. Oh yeah, here's what I was trying to help somebody with this. All right, this is the one everybody was having trouble with. So let's look at this one carefully. All right, so orthocenter is perpendicular, correct? So let's do -1, 2. And then 5, 2. And then 2, 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to so here's where we're going here. All right, so here we go. Now there's my triangle. So the first perpendicular is going to be the easy one, right? Because it's a horizontal line. So this right here. Does everybody agree with that? That's pretty easy. All right. So that is the altitude. All right, again, it's the altitude because it's perpendicular. Now, the problem some of you are having was I want to draw the next one. And what I'm going to try to do is from this vertex over here, is there an altitude on this line? No, you have to extend it out. All right. Now, again, you can extend it out, or what I want you to think about is I need to know what the slope of this line is right here. What's the slope of that line? Negative 1/3, right? So the slope of the perpendicular would have to be what? 3. Is everybody with me? So from the vertex, I have to go 3. So I'm going to say this one more time. From this point, I have to use a slope of 3. Now, am I going to go up 3 and over 1? No, because that's going away from the other line. If I go up 3 and over 1, right here, 1, 2, 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, I'm never going to run into that line. So I know I'm going the other direction, right? So from this point right here, I'm going down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. That to me looks like it's it right here. Did I agree with that? So did anybody else get 2 -7 besides me? Is that what you guys got? 2 -7. All right. Now, again, if we wanted to, now we can extend this line out. And now you can see that's a good perpendicular. Does everybody see that? So I think 2 -7 is okay. I could also do it from the other side, right? So this right here, slope of this is 1/3, right? So the slope of the perpendicular would be -3, right? So now let's see if you understand me. So I'm going to go from this point up here down 3. 1, 2, 3 over. Oh, that's too thick. Say it again, Sam. What are you asking me? Negative, isn't that what I said? This one, no. The slope of let me make sure. So the slope of this line right here, right? Isn't that 1/3, Sam?
Oh.
Right. So now we're going down 3 from here. 1. I don't know why it's doing that. All right. So from that point, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. Same thing. All right, does everybody see that? Yeah.
So just to like confirm, so to get the orthocenter, you find the altitude, and then where the lines intersect.
That's it. All right. I'm good with that. Everybody okay with that now? Zayden, how's that? All right. Here we go. 38. Write the inequality relating BC and ED. So BC is what? Does everybody agree? Less than? Yes. What?
You have to write it less than.
Well, how do you want to write it? ED is greater than BC. That's true. I just did it right here because the letters are right there. That's all, right? BC is less than ED. ED is greater than BC. All right. So again, orthocenter again. All right, let's practice that because that seemed to be tricky for some kids. So here we go. Let's plot 2, 0, -6, 0, which is nice, and 0, 6. Wow, this one I think is just too easy. So here we go. Again, I'm going to draw from here straight down. Everybody agree with that? Now, I don't think it matters, so I'm just going to pick this one. Somebody tell me what the slope of that line is. -3 again, right? So the slope of the perpendicular would be what? 1/3. So now from this point, I'm going up 1 over 3, right? Up 1 over 3. And then if I continue to draw that out, that looks perpendicular to me, right? So what's the orthocenter? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 0, 2. Everybody okay with that? Any issues? What?
So you only have to do 2.
Yeah, you only have to do 2. You can do 3 just to make sure you're correct, right? So let's do the slope just to make sure we're correct. What's the slope of this line? Is 1, right? So the slope of that line is 1. So the slope of the perpendicular would be -1, right? So here, from this point over here, I'm going up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. And guess what? There it is. Same point. Morty, you see that now? Yeah, if you do a good job, you only need 2, but if you're sloppy, you might want to do 3 just to confirm. Right? What?
So use the -1 slope for the other side.
Yeah, because now watch me. This slope here was +1, right?
Mhm.
So the slope of the perpendicular line is going to have -1.
So use it for the
Yeah. Right? Tell me now if I'm not clear. You agree with that or not?
I agree with it. I'll get it with it. I can do it.
Sure? All right, here we go. Okay, so now we got to do the circumcenter. Here we go. So let's graph 0, -2, 10, -2, 10, 8. That's kind of annoying. Oh, but this one's going to be easy, right? The reason why I say this one's easy is because there's vertical and horizontals, right? So if I want to draw the perpendicular bisector, I need the midpoint, right? So let's do this one first. From there to there is how much? So the midpoint would be what? Right? So if I do 5, this is the midpoint right here. Does everybody agree? And if I'm perpendicular then, oh. Come on now, I don't think that's hard, guys. Is it, anybody else have issues with that? Is that all right? What? What? Bo, you have to help me, man. Come on, I'm in a hurry. You have to say something more than I understand. What, Bo, what is it? It's the perpendicular bisector, right? So I found this distance was 10. So if it bisects, it's going to cut it in half, right? So this is 5 units and this is 5. I don't understand what you're having trouble with.
Why are we specifying?
What does it say? The circumcenter. Do you know what that is? If you don't know what that is, Bo, just tell me.
Yeah, I know.
What?
So if the like segments, like the sides of the triangle, weren't on like vertical or horizontal lines, how would you do it?
Well, so I can show you, but right now, so what we'll do, just to answer your question is, I won't do the easy one, I'll do this one right here. All right? So I need the midpoint of that, right?
Mhm.
So the midpoint, this is 0, -2, and the other one is 10, 8. right? So what's the midpoint of that? What's the midpoint of that? 5, comma 3. Is that right? 5, comma 3? Do you agree with that?
That's
0 plus 10 is 10 divided by 2 is 5. Negative 2 plus. See, my problem right now is I don't know if you guys know like what the definition is, right? That's what I'm struggling with. Like, I don't know, do you need to know what circumcenter means, or are you having trouble with finding the midpoint? Right, you good on that? You know how to find the midpoint, right? So the midpoint is 5, 3. So I went over 5 and up 3. That right there is the midpoint, which surprisingly looks like the circumcenter, right? But I don't know that for sure, right? So if it's the perpendicular bisector, then I need the slope of this line right here. What's the slope of that line? 1, it looks like, right? So that means the slope of the perpendicular is going to be -1. So from this point, I go down 1 and over 1, and I'm drawing this line. And again, that's the point of intersection is the circumcenter. So the circumcenter just so happens to be what? 5, 3, just so happens. And that's true for all right triangles, but again, I don't care about that. What?
So if we find the midpoint of how you did up there, like the midpoint of each.
Right.
Is that the answer always?
Well, yeah, but I don't see, I would never remember that. I just would discover that and go like, oh yeah, that's the rule, right? Who wants to memorize that dumb fact, right? That's what I'm saying. If you want to do that, yes, but I don't have that memorized. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't do it enough. Right now, let's see. So this circle right here, if it's done correctly, if we did a good job, look how perfect that is. Right, I know, not impressive to some, but I think it's pretty cool. All right, that's what the circumcenter does. It allows you to inscribe the triangle or circumscribe the circle around the triangle. All right, Bo, I wasn't fussing at you, know that, right?
Yeah.
I just have to know if you don't know what circumcenter means, I can tell you, right? Anybody else? William, are you understanding what I said, right? You with me? Now, if we wanted to, I could have just selected this right here and said the midpoint of that. What's the midpoint of that? So that distance was from 10, 8 to 10, -2 is 10 units, right? So I have to go up 5. So if I go up 5, I'm looking at it saying, this to me looks like the midpoint. And if I'm perpendicular, it's a horizontal line. So there again, do you see how that worked out? Go, quick. Yeah, exactly. Now look, that's why I was a little frustrated, because if you know what circumcenter means, perpendicular bisector, right? Bisect means midpoint. True? Perpendicular is just the slope. That's what I'm trying to make it so simple, right? You understand me now, right? How if you understand the word, then to me you understand how to find it, right? Circumcenter, perpendicular bisector means it's got to be in the midpoint and it's got to be perpendicular, right? That's why I'm saying I think you should know that. All right, here we go, guys. TP is how much? 7, 47. What was X equal? 4, right? So then QA is how much? 28. In center, all right? That's the angle bisectors, right? So what is YLA? 32. YGA. Wait a minute. YGA is this angle, correct? So now this is 21. This is 32, right? So you can add those up, subtract from 180, right? Or you can add these two up and subtract from 90. 53, did you say 37? I think I'm right. Is that right? 37?
Yeah, that's right.
37, thank you. You agree with that? Right, let me say that one more time because I really haven't addressed that. These three angles add up to what? 90, right? If you cut both those, all three angles in half, that means all three angles that were cut in half are going to add up to what? 90. Man, I feel like I'm not making sense to some of you, right? So that means all three parts have to add up to 90. Does that make sense? All right, but that's another way to figure it out. All right, was anything else on there? Shall I finish putting the answers and then publish it? All right, that's what I'll do. All right, I'll finish putting the answers and I'll publish that, everything. Does everybody agree kind of the end is not as hard though, right? All right, hopefully you're good. All right. All right. Study, guys. I promise you it's not gonna be bad. All right. Zayden, were you okay with that? Orthocenter now? All right.